Tonight on CFTK-TV News, tips for Fire Safety Week, inflation and grocery prices impact Canadian Thanksgiving, and citizens look abroad for healthcare.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on this Friday, October 10th, 2025. I'm Jaylene Mathews. This week is Fire Safety Week in North America, and CFTK-TV's Kel Maslin met up with the Terrace Fire Department to talk safety.
This past week was Fire Prevention Week, a week dedicated to teaching people around the entirety of Canada on how to make sure that everyone knows the best ways to stop fires before they ever get the chance to start. And it's no different in the city of Terrace and the rest of northwestern BC. In a recent interview, Terrace Deputy Fire Chief Brad Owens mentioned that these weeks have more specific subjects that they focus on too, and for this year, lithium-ion batteries are being put under the spotlight.
Every year, the NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, looks at the trends across the fire service and identifies current and emerging trends that have caused structure fires, and this year lithium-ion batteries have definitely spiked in that trend area. So they've chosen to address that area of concern right now and just trying to get some education out to the public around safety when charging lithium-ion batteries.
Those kinds of batteries are featured in various common items like e-scooters, e-bikes, and cell phones. Although even with the specific yearly themes, the Terrace Fire Department still has consistent points that they bring up frequently when talking about fire prevention.
One of our big things that we always push and make sure that everyone's aware of is smoke alarms. So just testing your smoke alarm in your house, making sure you're replacing it when it needs to be replaced, and making sure you have functioning smoke alarms. The City of Terrace, we actually offer a smoke alarm program, so if you don't have a working smoke alarm, we have free smoke alarms that we can hand out. We also do home inspections, and you can contact the fire department to schedule an inspection at your home.
Owens also listed off some of the places that people can go take a look at to discover more fire prevention tips.
The OFC, or Office of the Fire Commissioner, has a webpage. The BC PFFA, which is the British Columbia Professional Firefighter Association, also has some fire prevention information on their webpage, along with the fire prevention officers of BC have, again, another webpage, and the National Fire Protection Association has a vast resource on their webpage as well if you want to go find out more information. And as always, if you have any questions on specifics around fire prevention, you're more than welcome to reach out to the City of Terrace Fire Department.
Terrace has its Fire Smart program too, which exists mainly for the purpose of educating the public on fire-related matters. For CFTK-TV News, I'm Kel Maslin.
The Kitimat RCMP released their weekly incident report, with it covering the first week of October. One area of the report mentioned how a local senior was the victim of a celebrity impersonator scam that cost them several $1,000s. This kind of scam reportedly sees scammers pose as celebrities and try to solicit money for things like meet and greets, vacations, and concerts. And thanks to evolving technology, this kind of ruse can be difficult to see through. The Kitimat RCMP has recommended that people visit the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre website in order to stay up to date on what scams to watch out for. As the BCGEU strike continues, the largest impact may be on the liquor industry as both the private sector and restaurants begin to be affected. CTV's St. John Alexander reports.
If wine, beer, or spirits are from France, Argentina, Australia, any place outside of Canada, they must be imported into BC by specialized companies. Then the booze is stored in massive warehouses while it waits for government approval. And at the moment, those warehouses are bursting.
You would see millions and millions of cases of wine and spirits and beer containers and semi-trucks in their loading and staging areas that they haven't been able to unload because they're starting to run out of room.
Because under BC law, all that international liquor can't be sold to restaurants or stores directly. It must pass through here first, the BC Liquor Distribution Branch, and it's behind picket lines.
They're completely held hostage by the system that we have to work with.
Businesses are beginning to panic because they've spent millions on products they can't sell and could go bad. Mom and pop stores are running dry and yet have already paid for liquor they can't get. And Vancouver's Juggler House Oktoberfest has been canceled. There's no beer.
I think any event trying to run something that will have imported alcohol will not be able to go as planned.
During COVID, booze was flowing because it was deemed an essential service.
To my knowledge, the government has power to deem certain services essential.
Why is the government not deeming them essential services now?
Now, the Attorney General brushed off that question and referred us to the Ministry of Finance, who in turn says circumstances are very different.
What I will say is that we're hopeful that we can come to an agreement at the table where it belongs.
This is the busiest time for liquor sales, what the industry calls OND, October, November, December. The union has taken down picket lines for a few days here and there in the past, but says the government took advantage of that generosity.
And I'll say the willingness of my membership to take down any lines as under the rubric of good faith is about zero.
And so millions of dollars worth of inventory remains parked. For every week of a strike, it takes about a month to get it moving again. St. John Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
Coming up next, a BC community adopts a self-driving bus. BC Conservative leader and Nechako Lakes MLA John Rustad says the phones of party MLAs were searched earlier this week to make sure no inappropriate information had gotten out from the party's caucus. Rustad says the searches took place at Monday's caucus meeting and did not turn up anything concerning. Rustad says there were concerns about leaks from the Conservative caucus, and the vast majority of his party's MLAs agreed to the search. He says searching MLAs' phones is not something the party will do on a regular basis. And self-driving cars are really here, and in this case, it's a self-driving bus, making its debut in Ontario. CTV's Natalie Van Roy reports.
This may look like any other regular shuttle, but it's autonomous.
It is a medium-speed electric and autonomous shuttle that is built on a commercialized platform that's been crash tested. So, of course, safety, 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 with all these amazing sensors that make the technology work. Right here in the front, this is a LiDAR, and this is a solid-state LiDAR. So this is one of the devices that helps to create that 3D map.
The shuttle designed by UK-based Origo International. The company spokesperson says it's the first of its kind in Canada. While it doesn't need a driver to operate, someone is still on standby for safety reasons.
It's all about safety here. We have a safety driver on board at all times, and that way they can take over if needed.
City officials launching the Canada North Smart Shuttle on Thursday. It can drive up to 50 kilometers an hour.
It'll be in operation later this month, and it'll be operating Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. until the end of January of 2026. The shuttle is open to all the Canada North members, guests, partners.
The 4.5-kilometer route has 8 stops, including businesses, restaurants, community spaces, and public transit. The federal government helped to fund the project.
We were able to announce the federal government support for this pilot project, which is $1.4 million through Transport Canada's Enhanced Road Safety Transfer Payment Program.
It's really something we can show off to the community, to the country, and to the world, which is very exciting.
Officials say this shuttle went through rigorous testing during all seasons and simulating cyclists, pedestrians, and wildlife. Natalie Van Roy, CTV News, Ottawa.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says the fate of the emissions cap on oil and gas producers depends on other efforts to lower emissions. Carney's comment coming in response to a question from a reporter at an event in Ottawa today appears to be a shift from his stance before the election, when he committed to keeping the emissions cap in place along with the tanker ban along the BC coast, both measures the oil and gas industry and the Alberta government are calling on Ottawa to repeal. He said it depends before saying his government's goal is to lower emissions from the energy, mining, and manufacturing sectors to make their products more competitive globally. In March, Carney told reporters he would keep the emissions cap in place, though he also has said he wants to find other ways to lower emissions. The emissions cap, set to take effect in 2030, requires upstream oil and gas operations to reduce their emissions to 35% below where they were in 2019. Turning to the weather, we'll be blessed with blue skies and lots of sunlight to complement the impressive display of fall colors across the Northwest this Thanksgiving weekend. Tonight on the North Coast, expect conditions to be clear. Winds from the northwest at 30 kilometers an hour, except gusting to 50 over exposed coastal sections, a low of +5 degrees. Over the next few days on the North Coast, expect conditions to stay clear and sunny, but getting chillier overnight. Daily highs from 10 to 12 degrees, overnight lows between 1 and 5 degrees. Tonight in the Terrace-Kitimat area, expect conditions to clear this evening, a low of +1 degree. Over the next few days in the Terrace-Kitimat area, expect lots more sunshine right through the weekend. Daily highs between 7 and 14 degrees, overnight lows from 1 to 6 degrees. Tonight in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, it's looking clear, a low of -5 degrees. Over the next few days in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, expect more sunny skies along with some wind and colder nights. Daily highs between 6 and 12 degrees, overnight lows between -6 and 1 degree. Checking your highways around the Northwest now. On Highway 16, there's construction in Prince Rupert with a detour in effect. Also bridge maintenance, ditching, maintenance, and utility work underway. On Highway 37, watch for maintenance as well as bridge construction. On Highway 37A, there's a section with falling rocks, as well as bridge maintenance and bridge construction underway. On the Niska Highway, there's mowing. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. Still to come, relief in Gaza as peace talks begin. An explosion at a Tennessee military munitions plant has left 19 people missing and feared dead, authorities say. The blast occurred Friday at Accurate Energetic Systems, about 60 miles southwest of Nashville. The cause of the explosion is not yet known. A spokesperson for the Humphreys County Emergency Management Agency says there's no further danger of explosions and the scene was under control. Emergency crews hadn't been able to enter the plant due to ongoing detonations. Residents miles away reported feeling the explosion, and video shows flames and heavy smoke rising from the debris. The company has not responded to requests for comment. Local officials described the incident as a tragedy for the community. An Alberta man is walking with less pain, but it took a trip across the Atlantic to make it happen. Instead of waiting for hip surgery in Canada, he flew to Lithuania for the procedure. As CTV's Kathy Lee explains, as surgery wait times at home drag on, Canadians are looking abroad for relief.
Each step a revelation for Gary Garby. The pain that once consumed him.
It was excruciating. I was bedridden for the most part.
Now becoming a dull memory thanks to surgery on his hip.
It started off as mild osteoarthritis. From there to severe, to the bones were grinding, to the ball collapsing and fracturing.
But relief wasn't found in a Canadian hospital. The 64-year-old flew to Lithuania for the procedure because the wait time at home could have been a year or two.
I couldn't wait. I was just like, I was losing it.
We would have sold things if we needed to in order to go and get this done. It was at that point. The surgery alone was $16,000.
But that price tag's still cheaper than a private clinic back home, some places almost double. Garby's surgery was facilitated by Med Travel Solutions. It says 95% of patients are from Canada, and they try to schedule everything within 6 weeks.
This is a growing phenomenon. The Canadian healthcare system is letting patients down, so they're giving up and going elsewhere. They don't want to wait.
In a statement, the province says there is more work to do to reduce wait times across our healthcare system, but that Alberta continues to perform better than the national average in surgical wait times in 4 areas: hip replacement, hip fracture repair, knee replacement, and radiation therapy. Still, for Garby, the system failed him.
It's hard to comprehend that you'd have to travel that far to something that like this severity in order to remedy it.
But now the focus is on the future. With each day, he feels closer to reclaiming the life
Things are just going to get better from here on in.
he thought he had lost. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Strathmore, Alberta.
Tens of thousands of Palestinians displaced by the war in Gaza have started moving north toward their homes, or what remains of them, after a ceasefire agreement came into effect. Many are eager to go back, but are also burdened by the war's staggering losses and the vast destruction. Some wonder where they will stay or if they can afford the journey back. Others are not yet confident it's safe for them to immediately return. Israel's offensive, sparked by a Hamas deadly attack October 7, 2023, has killed tens of thousands of Palestinians and caused significant loss and suffering in Gaza. But now there's hope for an end in sight. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
Standing on top of emergency vehicles, paramedics in Gaza City celebrate the first step toward peace. Honestly, these are indescribable feelings, this man says. We can't believe it. At Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, dancing and singing. Hope that finally the hostages will soon be home.
This is the joy that we are waiting for.
While many important details still need to be ironed out, the first phase of this truce will see all remaining Israeli hostages freed in exchange for hundreds of Palestinians being held in Israeli jails. Israeli forces will also withdraw to an agreed-upon line.
The next 48 hours are crucial. We urge the parties, particularly Hamas, to follow through, release all the hostages.
Many questions still remain, with the more contentious elements of a long-term deal yet to be agreed to, including Israeli demands that Hamas disarm and the complete withdrawal of Israeli troops from the enclave.
When they disarm, whether Israel withdraws sufficiently to send a signal to Hamas that they can disarm, those are the questions going forward.
In the meantime, Israel is preparing hospitals to receive the hostages once they are released after more than 730 days in captivity. Palestinians hopeful that once the bombing stops, they can begin to rebuild their lives. A daunting task with an estimated 2 million people displaced, according to the United Nations, and much of the enclave reduced to rubble.
What we need, of course, is humanitarian supplies. We need food, we need water, hygiene, tents, equipment for the winter to support people in this new phase of the response.
U.S. President Donald Trump says the 48 remaining hostages will be released on either Monday or Tuesday, 20 of whom are still believed to be alive. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Turning to the markets now, Canada's main stock index finished more than 400 points lower, weighed down by losses in the technology sector, while U.S. markets also fell. The Canadian dollar had no change. The price of gold was up $27.80. Oil dropped $2.61. Natural gas fell 13 cents. Aluminum rose by $45. In Toronto, the TSX dropped 419 points. The Venture Index fell by 13. In New York, the Nasdaq dropped 820 points and the Dow fell by close to 879. Still ahead, the climbing cost of turkey dinner. Thanksgiving weekend is upon us, and traditionally lavish dinners may be less sumptuous this year with inflation and the rising cost of food hitting hard. CTV's Lisa LaRoche reports.
It's like a Bible, so I started last week.
It takes a lot of planning for Francine Dion to cook that perfect Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, I wanted a certain weight.
Grateful that this year the cost of the meal didn't run foul. She isn't alone. A new study found the price of a traditional turkey dinner for a family of 4 only went up less than 1% by about 18 cents. But that butterball costs about the same or is slightly cheaper.
It's the largest one they had. So it's 21 pounds for $64. Feeds a lot of people. I think it's reasonable.
I always buy the butterball. And so I did notice that there's perhaps about $15 cheaper this year.
But the downside is that it's the sides that are stuffing consumers' wallets, such as cranberries and gravy.
If you're accustomed to buying anything in a can, this year you will be paying more due to tariffs. So if you want to save money, make your own gravy, make your own cranberries at home.
I'm not really in favor of the reciprocal tariff on certain things. The cost of coffee has really gone up.
Many still opting to include less expensive options, like ham.
It's for Thanksgiving, yeah. I wouldn't buy a big ham like that just for us.
Or looking for savings wherever they can.
I know the price of all my food. If it's not on sale, I don't buy it.
As for Dion, the yearly tradition is less about the food and more about those at the dinner table.
We're doing Thanksgiving, Christmas, all those celebrations, we do them at the cottage. So when the kids come, it's for 3 days.
Leah LaRoche, CTV News.
Hockey's back and fans are stoked for the season ahead, and the Canucks home opener didn't disappoint hopeful fans. CTV's Kevin Schrock reports.
Canucks fans fired up.
I'm very I technically have been waiting for this moment for the entire summer.
I'm just so excited that hockey's back.
Hoping that they can make the jump and looking forward to a good season.
18-year-old Braden Coots, a first-round draft pick this past summer, making his NHL debut, getting the traditional rookie skate, becoming one of the youngest Canucks ever to suit up. But it would be an NHL veteran getting the Canucks on the board first, Kiefer Sherwood wristing it home. The second period, things got heated. Canucks forward Elias Pettersson temporarily left the game after this hit, but would later return. The Canucks pull away in the third, thanks to Philip Hedl, who scored twice, including this slick breakaway goal. Also making his Canucks debut, East Vancouver's own Evander Kane, assisting on this Jonathan Lekkerimäki goal. Then later it's Brock Besser with the cherry on top.
Besser takes the drop pass, he shoots, he scores!
Beautiful snipe far side. The Canucks go on to defeat the Flames 5-1.
For me, for the team, it's it's a big win. It's always nice to win the first game, but we have many more ahead of us, so yeah.
Canucks now travel to Edmonton to face the Oilers on Saturday night. Kevin Schrock, CTV News, Vancouver.
That's our news for now. Enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday. Thanks for watching.